Welcome to May's Roundtable. It's good to see all your faces again, and we're good and excited to get back to some scouting. Things are looking up, and we've got a great program for you for this evening. Before we get started, we're going to start with the pledge and the oath and the law.
Those in uniform, please salute. Those who are not, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
All right, please prepare yourself for prayer.
Hi, my name is Bev Sklar.
I'm Sid Sklar.
And we're here to offer a roundtable meeting this evening, a Jewish prayer to begin roundtable. We'll share it in Hebrew and in English.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'tochei tzibor. Blessed are you, eternal God, Majesty of the universe, who has consecrated us with your commands and commanded us to occupy ourselves with the needs of the community.
Have a nice meeting this evening, and thank you for asking us to share this Jewish prayer.
All right, thank you. So we are looking for units or families who would like to record the oath and the law and the pledge, or if you would like to record a prayer from your family's tradition appropriate for scouting, please just message us. We'd love to have some other people from our council share. All right, that brings us up to the info minute. Give me a moment while I pull it up. Okay. All right, let's get started. We've got the info minute. First thing first, a bunch of you probably want to know, with things changing, has anything changed with the COVID restrictions? And guess what? Nothing has changed yet, but that doesn't mean things won't change soon. For all I know, things could change as soon as we're done here, because that's how it works. But I promise, as soon as we know, we'll share with you. And the first place we're going to share it will be either in an email or on social media and an email, but it'll go out. If anything changes, probably will soon. If anything changes, we will let you know, I promise. Please don't message me. I get like 20 messages all at once. We'll let you know as soon as we know, I promise. All right, let's move to the next one. And we've got YPT training update. Things to, I'm seeing in the comments, things changed today. No masks if you're vaccinated per CDC, except we are still under our council's rules, which say we need to wear masks when scouting. So CDC may say that, but as for right now, we must wear masks until we hear from council otherwise. Just want to be absolutely clear with that. YPT modules are being updated. So they're editing those, and there'll be changes to the YPT modules. If you're in progress, meaning you're updating it right now, finish your modules before June 1st, because at June 1st, the new version is going to go out. And if you're in progress, it's going to set you back and erase the progress. So no problem if you haven't started yet and you're close to being due, just wait till after June 1st. Summer of Service, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but BSA National has declared this a Summer of Service. And as we have throughout our history, Scouting families are answering the call to work together in service of the greater good. From public health drives to caring for the environment to assisting neighbors in need, Scouts have always been a force for positivity and goodness in our communities. Go to Summer of Service website and find out how your unit can participate and earn their Summer of Service patch. And this is for everything from Cubs on up to venturing. Popcorn kickoff news. Popcorn training is going to be held June 1st at 5:30 at the American Legion in Lockport. You do need to register for that online. The kickoff for the popcorn is going to be celebrated at Joliet Slammers game on Tuesday, August 3rd, and will include a hot dog, a chip, and chips and a drink. You will also need to register for that with your Scouts online at Council's website. So that should be a lot of fun. We have an Eagle Scout recognition event for the class of 2020. It is on June 5th at RSR. There is information on our council's website for that. Adult training events. So we just had a whole bunch of adult training events. So if you missed them, then you're going to have to wait until this fall, unfortunately, although there is going to be a few, I believe, training events at summer camp on the troop level this summer. Let's see. But we do have one training event, Wood Badge. So if you haven't yet, if you haven't heard of it, which I'm sure you have because I've talked about it at every single roundtable for the past year, Wood Badge is a 5-day course taken over 2 weekends for any pack, troop, crew, ship, or board leader 18 years or older, fully trained in their position and looking to increase their leadership skills. Scouters interested in taking Wood Badge are committed to the program and want to do good things and make a positive impact. Wood Badge will be held October 9th through 11th and October 23rd through 24th. You have to attend both weekends. And registration is open online. Don't delay. We have to fill the class before for sure it will run, and we're very, very close to having it filled. So make sure if you're on the fence or if you are and just haven't gotten it around to it yet, please finish off that registration. Summer camp. Summer camp. Everyone wants to know about summer camp. Cubs, troops, everyone wants to know about summer camp. The situation we have with COVID is changing rapidly, and so I know that we have planned for the worst and are expecting the best. So every day as the COVID restrictions are changing, so are the plans for summer camp about what is and what isn't allowed. If you have questions, so do I. We're waiting to find out, and as soon as we know, we will share. But right now, everything's looking really good, and I think that our camps are going to happen. Other programming news. Let's see, what else do we have in other programming news? We have a Golf Classic fundraiser. So the Golf Classic is put on every year, and it's a lot of fun for adults. And if you would like to volunteer to help with that, I know they're looking for some volunteers, or if you would like to go enjoy, or your company would like to go and enjoy a golf outing, this is a wonderful opportunity to enjoy a day of golf and to support scouting. There is I'm in the way, there's a Scout Sleepover 2021 at the Joliet Slammers. So it's another Slammers event. This is not through Rainbow Councils. This is through the Slammers themselves. So you have to go to their website to sign up. For $15, you get reserved seat tickets for the game, you get popcorn and a drink, and you get to camp on the field, which is a lot of fun. So if you're interested in that, go to the Slammers website. There we go. There's a phone number down there. Call and book. I know a lot of scouts that have done it and think it's awesome, especially the Cubs. So that's a great thing to do this summer. Also, there is a new Cub Scout modular design award. It's an adventure, and it is a modular design. So it's like this company, it's like the Yo-Yo, where it's a company that sponsors it. There's a cool thing. You get to learn some stuff. They give you a coupon for the price off on these snap ships, and they teach about modular design. The difference is that the award is not a belt loop. It is a video that plays online and a certificate and another coupon for the snap ships. That might be something if you need to fill a meeting, that might be kind of fun. Another thing that I found was the jamboree. Jamboree. It's very awkward to say. Jamboree. It is a bowling competition around the whole world. It is open to scouts all over the world, from cubs on up through the older ages. And basically, you do it on your own. So you take your unit, your pack, your den to go bowling, and then you report your scores, and you get to see your units or your group, your bowling team's scores compared to scouts throughout the world. And there is a fun patch. So it's something fun to do to connect with other units on the other side of the planet. There is also a Scout Life reading contest, which I found by looking through my kids' Scout Life magazine. If you don't look at it when it comes to your house, you should, because there's cool stuff in there. But one of them is this Scout Life reading program. They pick their favorite book and they write a book report on it, and then they submit it, and they get this cool patch that they get to add to their brag vest. But they also have a chance to win gift certificates for Scout Shop Online to buy cool gear. So it might be a good way to get your kid excited about writing and reading. Finally, do you have anything that you would like to add to the Info Minute? Maybe you're on a committee, or maybe you saw something really cool about scouting worldwide that you'd like to share. Please don't hesitate to ding either Esmeralda or I, and we would be happy to add it to the Info Minute. All right. There it is. It moved. Okay. Next, we are going to talk about the Scout Law Point, and that's Esmeralda.
All right. So our Scout point for this month is thrifty. A Scout is thrifty. So 10 reasons a Scout is thrifty. So many Scout merit badges, including citizenship, entrepreneurship, fish and wildlife management, gardening, personal management, nature, public health, soil and water conservation and wildlife, wilderness survival, and so many more. To some people, of course, being thrifty just means being cheap or stingy. But Scouts of all people know better. Thrift is a big idea. It means meaning the wisest use of all that we have. An old poster says, real thrift is the saving and intelligent use of health, time, and property of all kinds, including money. In fact, even the word thrift comes from the word thrive. So much of what scouting is all about comes from the wonderful word of thrift. Number two, a big part of thrift is taking good care of the woods, of wildlife, and of our natural resources. An old poem from children says, we will be a thrifty nation when we all learn conservation. Scouts of all people are committed to wise conservation and care for the natural world. 3, a big part of thrift means planning for the future. To be thrifty means focusing not just on today, but also on tomorrow. Does that idea remind you of anything? What about the Scout motto? Be prepared. 4, a major purpose of being a Scout is to build character. The same is true of thrift. Mr. S.W. Strauss, a successful businessman who many years ago founded the American Society for Thrift, said, as we build the idea of thrift, we build character. 5, why is a Scout reverent? Part of the answer is that a Scout is grateful for and wants to take good care of all that God has given him. This idea is sometimes called stewardship or being a good steward. Being thrifty is another way of saying being a good steward. 6, a Scout is generous. He promises to help other people at all times, and he tries to do a good turn daily. Being generous is a huge part of being thrifty. One reason that thrifty people can be generous is that they work hard and save wisely, so they have more with which to help others. The famous religious leader John Wesley summed up thrifty this way: earn all you can, save all you can, give, and then give all you can. 7, scouting teaches the way to success. So does thrift. The world's most famous book ever, Thrift, written by America's own Benjamin Franklin, was called The Way to Wealth. As he put it in a letter to a young friend, be industrious and frugal and you will be rich. 8, the founders of the Boy Scouts believed that thrift is very important. The very first statement of the Boy Scout law in 1910 stresses that a Boy Scout is thrifty. The Boy Scouts and thrift have a long and proud history together. Years ago, the Boy Scouts helped to sponsor National Thrift Week, 1 week each year during which young Americans and old ones too focus on the great importance of thrift. And number 10, today we live in some very challenging economic times. Many Americans are hard pressed. In difficult times, especially, we need to think creatively and wisely about how we are using money. We need to be smart. We need to have a plan. We need to care, discipline, and foresight. We need to reduce waste. We need to save and conserve. In short, in today's tough times, more than ever, we need thrift. There you have it. So today's point law for this month is thrifty.
All right. And then today, for our Adult Leader Award, we are going to learn about one that I got to be honest, I knew about Service Stars, but I did not know about the Scouting Veteran Award, which is separate from the Service Stars. The Veteran Award is an adult recognition. However, tenure earned as a youth may be included in the total number of years registered. This award is different from the Service Star. After 5 years of registered service in the Boy Scouts of America, and every 5 years thereafter, an adult may, upon application, receive the designation of veteran, provided the person agrees to live up to the scouting obligations, to keep local scouting authorities in the community in which residing informed as to availability for service, and further, to be as active in the promotion of the cause of scouting as circumstances and conditions permit. Service in scouting organizations other than the Boy Scouts of America does not count towards veteran recognition. An individual must currently be a paid registered member of the Boy Scouts of America to receive an award. Scouters desiring recognition must have maintained an active registered relationship for the required number of years, paying the annual registration fee. And the periods of service claimed for veteran recognition need not be continuous. So this is an award that you can receive for every 5 years of service, and each pin has a different number on it, and the pins get fancier the longer that you've served. So that is a new one to me, which is kind of exciting. Still learning new ones. And then next we have Esmeralda with the Summertime Pack Award.
All right, so the Summertime Pack, the National Summertime Pack Award. This award is to encourage a pack to be active when school is out for the summer by doing one activity per month in June, July, and August. So who can earn this award? Well, this is an individual recognition for Scouts. The pack can qualify for the certificate and streamer by planning and conducting 3 pack activities, one each in June, July, and August, or during other school vacations in your pack is if it's a year-round school. Duns with an average attendance of at least half their members at the 3 summer pack events are eligible for a colorful den participation ribbon. Scouts who participate in all 3 pack events are eligible to receive the National Summertime Pack Award pin, which they can wear on the right pocket flap of their uniform. And if you can notice, it's really small, I'm sorry, but there are 3 different colors. So they can earn it, or 4 different colors, I can count, for each rank, starting at Tiger, Wolf, Bear, and Weeblo. So they can earn this for each rank year of their Cub Scout career. If there is any more information that you would like, you can always go on to the BSA website in the and search under the Award Central, and you'll be able to find not only more information, but also this application that you see, as well as a planning guide.
All right. That's a great award to help make sure that your pack is active over the summer. So that's a good one. All right, the next thing that we're going to talk about is the Membership Minute, which is our new part of the program with Melissa Rubik. Melissa, you have the floor.
Hello, everyone. So this month, let's talk about membership retention during your summer planning. First, as you begin to set up your meetings for summer planning, make sure you're involving your current families. Pack summer planning or committee meetings can often sound intimidating to parents. Make sure they know that these are for everyone and that everyone is welcome. Perhaps calling them parent meetings, holding them in a place more conducive to socializing, like a park, restaurant, home, or encouraging current committee members to bring a friend can help to make everyone feel welcome at these meetings. Second, consider running a PAC survey, either on paper or through a free online tool like SurveyMonkey or Google Forms in May to allow families to provide input into your summer planning. While Journey to Excellence is a great way to gauge how you are meeting national standards, a PAC survey can help you focus on how you are doing in the eyes of your members. Asking ranking questions like, on a scale of 1 to 5, how satisfied are you with the program, or how likely are you to recommend the PAC to a friend, can help you gauge your overall effectiveness. Asking the same question year after year can also help track your improvements in these areas. Also consider open-ended questions to use in your summer planning. Questions like, what do we do well that we should keep doing? What needs improvement? Or what have we not been doing that we should start doing next year? Can be very interesting in helping you grow your program. Keeping the survey anonymous can help you to get truly honest feedback, while allowing contact info for follow-ups can help to address any specific concerns. I do have Google Forms and a Word doc survey that I've used for several years. So if anybody's interested, feel free to reach out and I'd be happy to share a copy with you. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Melissa. Awesome. We hope that that's helpful, because one of the biggest comments that we get every month in registration is, I need ideas for recruiting. I need ideas for retention. So we are going to keep doing that every month because Melissa is awesome. All right. Moving forward, we are going to talk about the safety minute, and the safety minute this month is sun safety as we get back to sunny summer times. One of the things that I don't know if you know or are aware of, but on National's website, there are incident reports. So incident reports are when things go bad and we have to fill out paperwork. And then National actually uses some of those as teachable moments so that we can share what has happened in units so that we don't repeat them themselves. And there is an entire section on safety incident reports with really bad second-degree sunburns, with, like, blisters, kids in hospital sunburns. So that is something that you can read at, say, maybe a committee meeting to remind all your leaders that they, especially with cubs, need to make sure that the cubs are bringing sunscreen and they're applying it even on overcast days. Something to keep in mind, which isn't so much of a problem at the cub level because we're not going to other states at higher elevations, but it's easier to burn at higher elevations. One thing that might affect our cubs, we should all know, if we're doing something near water, sun bounces off the water, can burn parts of you that you're not used to burning, especially with the kids who are outside all day. The other thing is, when we're doing things outside all day, the most likely time to get burned is between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. So consider having your events before or after those times if you're going to have an outdoor heavy activity. The other thing is, we all know that kids should be having their hat for their uniform anyway. Encourage them to have their hat with them. Encourage them to have their sunscreen in their little backpack, because they all love carrying that little backpack. It's cute. Yes, Erin, did you have something to add?
Sorry, quick question.
Sure.
So at Baloo, they said not to use aerosol cans.
Correct.
But they can't touch each other. How do we get sunscreen on their backs?
So yeah, we ask parents to make sure the sunscreen is applied, and then we have the kids put it on themselves where the adult is watching and say, okay, you need to get there better. We are not supposed to have aerosols. You are correct. We are not supposed to have aerosols in scouting.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking of summer camp. If there's water activities, how do you get that on there? We can't put it on, right? Unless
Correct.
It's our own kid. But
Correct.
Just something to think about. How do we advise our kids to do that?
It would be smart to advise parents to provide their kids with a sun shirt that covers those areas so that we don't need to have to apply the sunscreen to those areas.
Gotcha.
Even not a white, because the sun doesn't go well. It goes through the white, but like a dark colored shirt over a swimsuit.
Gotcha.
We'll take care of that.
Thank you.
That's a great question.
And my kids have the sun shirts. I didn't even think about.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Thank you.
Because then even if the arms are out, the kids can manage to get their arms. Okay.
Sure. Thank
cool.
you.
Good question. And then sunglasses. Sunglasses, eye burns on sun. Burns on the eyes, not so much fun. So just remember that sunburns can be pretty serious, and know when you need to take a kid out of the sun for a sunburn. Know when you need to call a parent because a sunburn looks really gnarly. So those are things to consider when you're out doing stuff with your kids in the sun. Moving forward, we are going to talk now about our general topic today, which goes hand in hand with the summer of service, but it is safety while doing the summer of service program. So if you haven't been here yet, there's this great website that explains all about the summer of service program. And it is right here at summer of service, it's /summer of service, but it tells you how to get involved. There's a plan and it gives you ideas about how you can plan your activity, do your project, post your project on social media using the hashtag so that you are representing scouting really well. Report it by telling National exactly what you did, and then do some kind of celebration with your pack that you give them their patches and their certificates and, let them know they did a great job. And here are some ideas about different areas and different things you can do for your community project. And I moved my chat box right in the way. Okay, and then down here, all the way down at the bottom is the safety guidance. And this is what we are talking about today. First things first is the safe scouting experience. You may have heard about the Sweet 16 of safety in scouting. That has been replaced and simplified a little bit, and we're going to look at that. This is safe. This is how we are supposed to judge whether our activity is safe or not for us to do as scouts. So we talk about supervision, assessment, fitness and skill, equipment and environment. And each one of these each one of these words has a underneath it about things we should consider when we're planning a program. And supervision is about, making sure that your adults are trained, they know what they're doing, the group that you're working with knows what they're doing and is qualified, and that, everything is being supervised properly and we're following guidelines. Assessment has to do with checking for the risks. So say we're doing trash pickup. We have to think about, okay, are we next to a highway or are we somewhere where it's safe? How are we getting there? Are we going to ask each scout to drive themselves? Think about, what equipment do I need? Are they going to be exposed to something that's dangerous? Is there going to be broken glass? Do they have something to cover their hands when they're picking things up? And then what happens if the weather goes south? How are we going to handle if we're, on the side of a park and there's no shelter and the weather is going to change? So these are things that we should be thinking about when we're planning. Fitness and skill has to do with think about all the levels of your participants. Do you have scouts with limited mobility? Are they going to be able to participate in this program or not? Think about the people that are coming with your scouts. Does grandma usually come and grandma's not going to be able to do this with her scout? Thinking about that is something we need to take into consideration. And then finally, equipment and environment. Again, checking, are all my scouts wearing closed-toed shoes? Did I communicate that effectively? Did I tell them they need to have pants on so they don't get ticks? Do I have equipment of the right size for these little guys? Are the gloves that I'm giving them, are they for big kids or are they for little kids? Same kind of thing about adjusting for conditions. So it comes as a handy PDF. And if you provide maybe a binder to your den leaders with activities, or maybe with even like medical files in them or something, this would be an excellent thing to throw in along, along with the chart that shows what activities are appropriate for scouts at different ages. This would be a good thing to throw in and have them look at and think about when they're planning their activities. All right, so then we go back. That's SAFE. You're going to probably see a lot more about SAFE in the coming weeks, because it's a simplified version of the Sweet 16, which used to be a lot bigger. The SAFE planning checklist is one you can actually go through, and it's an actual checklist. Again, you can take with you to describe your project and then check off each part as you go to make sure you're remembering. Because if you're like me, you're trying to plan a million things all at the same time, and it can be easy to forget really stupid, simple things like, did I remember to bring bug spray or sunscreen? Then there's the SAFE tool use. This is about, again, thinking about the SAFE acronym, but thinking about what tools are scouts allowed and not allowed to use. So there's an age-appropriate guideline for project tool use. A lot of cub leaders do not know you cannot use a drill, electric drill with kids. They can use hand tools only. So if you're not sure, this chart right here tells you what are they allowed to use, what are they not allowed to use. And then we've got COVID guidance, which everybody should be, real awesome at that now, so we're not even going to talk about it. But these are things that we need to take into consideration. And there are some kids, maybe your kids are used to using tools or used to using equipment that at home, that's fine on your own personal time, but you have to be careful when you're doing things with scouting that you're following scouting's guidelines about what they have deemed safe and not safe, because I'd like you to remember, if you are allowing things to happen that are outside of the safe scouting guidelines, you are personally legally liable if anything should happen. So we just take that amount of risk away, and the kids can still have a great program. There's still so many things they can do while we still follow the rules, because that's what we do, because we're scouts. All right, with that, we are moving on to our final area of the day. And we're going to be talking about the annual planning conference. And give me one moment to pull that up. Here we go.
Sometimes I ponder the great mysteries of life, such as, why are there interstate highways in Hawaii? If you're in a vehicle going the speed of light, what happens when you turn on the headlights? How do you know when it's time to tune your bagpipes? You may think such deep thoughts at times, and one of those thoughts may be, what makes a great Cub Scout pack? We will explore the answer to this question for the ages during this roundtable. Welcome to Roundtable, and I'm glad that you're here as we explore the mysteries of Cub Scouting and what makes a great Cub Scout pack. We will explore this together, and at the end, you should find the answer to this burning question. We're going to approach this with a metaphor of being sick. When you're sick, you know that you're sick because you're showing symptoms. A fever or a runny nose, and you may take something to treat those symptoms, to break the fever or stop the runny nose. However, if you continue to have a fever, you want to find the cause of that fever. You want to find that disease. So in addition to treating the symptom, you want to treat the disease to keep those symptoms from returning. So in Cub Scouting, what's the most common disease, not symptoms, but disease that we find with Cub Scout packs that are struggling? We know that not conducting an annual program planning conference is that disease. Okay, don't let the word conference intimidate you. How about an annual program planning party? The name is not as important as the purpose and the results. Just like eating right, staying hydrated, and exercising can prevent health issues, conducting an annual program planning is the best thing you can do to get your pack healthy and keep it healthy. our prescription for every pack is to conduct an annual program planning conference. Now, during this roundtable, we're not going to go through the details of how to conduct one. Instead, we will share some proven techniques. To learn how to conduct an annual program planning conference, simply go to My.Scouting and the BSA Learn Center, complete the Cub Scout training module, Annual Program Planning for Cub Scouting. Now, that's found in the PAC Committee Chair training track of Earning Your Training Strip. This 18-minute module will walk you through the details of how to conduct this conference with your PAC. In the training module, there is information about the secret sauce of scouting. Now, this is a research-driven project that discovered the 3 key ingredients to the secret sauce that's found in scouting programs that have high retention and participation among their families. Now, the first step is that the PAC committee chair and the Cub Master should meet to discuss the annual program planning and make some decisions. In addition to setting the date and time and location of the event, there needs to be a decision on what kind of planning event do you want. Do you want this to be a conference with adults only? Do you want it to be an event for adults and Cub Scouts? Or an event where all family members are invited? For example, as Cub Master, I met with our PAC committee chair and we decided to make our conference family friendly. We made ours a summer picnic with hamburgers and hot dogs, fun activities for the kids, and we conducted it on our committee chair's property. Now, all families were invited and expected to attend. We kept it fun and casual atmosphere. Now, this helped us build a community. I want to point out that the element that made our planning conference a success was that it was something that we knew our families would enjoy, and it was something that they could look forward to. From past events, we learned that our families liked special events on a Saturday, and that when we provided food, people showed up. If you choose to have an adult-only conference, will that exclude some members of your PAC who are single parents? Is there something you can do to arrange to ensure that they too can participate? Making those type of arrangements creates a very welcoming atmosphere. Now, here's a tip from the experts. At your planning conference, have an open dialogue about defining success for your PAC. Now, think of it this way. Next year, at the next planning conference, how will you know that you were successful? When you see smiling faces and hear laughter and see Cub Scouts having fun, that certainly is a great way to measure success. Now, getting gold in Journey to Excellence may be a goal of the PAC committee chair. However, if that goal isn't something that everyone else is bought into, chances are it will be a constant struggle. So here's the tip from the experts on that. Keep in mind that it isn't the plan that's going to make you successful, but the commitment to the plan. And the way to get a commitment to a plan is that you need to get ownership by those who are going to be part of making the plan happen. Annual program planning provides not only an opportunity to set dates for meetings and activities, more importantly, it provides an opportunity for your PAC to define its own success and to create a sense of community. Another item to address is the PAC calendar. This certainly is the objective of the conference, to have a calendar of meeting dates and of events and times and locations for the coming program year. But in this training module, it states the Cub Master Committee Chair should have a draft calendar to present. This is actually a lot easier than it sounds. Instead of starting with a blank calendar, just simply take the dates of all the PAC meetings and events from last year's calendar, pencil them into next year's calendar. At the conference, you can go month by month and ask, what needs to be changed? This will help keep the meeting moving, and several months will not require much discussion or any changes at all. If your PAC does not have a history of doing an annual program planning, you will need to manage your expectations of participation. You're not going to capture everyone the first time you conduct one, but you will capture some. Like any other well-run event, there shouldn't be any surprises as to who will be there. That means simply personally contact with everyone you are expecting to attend and confirm their attendance if they can or cannot come. So a tip from the experts is use the calendar and the discussions from the annual program planning as a regular part of your monthly committee meetings or monthly parent meetings. A review of the next 3 months, confirming details for the next month, and making assignments for tasks creates a healthy and functional PAC. You also want to manage your expectations of the results. instead of setting the expectation that things will always be perfect or that you're striving towards perfection, have an expectation of continuous improvement. You will make mistakes, and that is okay. Learn from them, make adjustments, and move forward. So, what makes a PAC great? Conducting an annual program planning is a major factor in making your PAC great. It will help you build a community for your families. And when a community works together, it can overcome any challenge. Now, it's time for you to share. For the remainder of the session, consider these questions. If your PAC conducts an annual program planning conference, what part of the conference do you feel your PAC does well? What part of the conference do you think your PAC could improve on? If your PAC conducts an annual program planning conference, why do you think it is an important part of how your PAC operates? Have you taken the training module, Annual Program Planning for Cub Scouting? If so, is there something in that module that you learned and that you use in your PAC? What do you do for your annual program planning conference? If you don't conduct an annual program planning conference, what are the barriers to you doing one this summer? And is there someone at Roundtable who would be willing to help you? Now, annual program planning conferences can be a great, fun way to build community for your PAC and to get ready for the next program year. So have fun doing it, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
All right. So let's jump in and have a conversation. So what part of this conference PAC does your PAC do well with, and what could be improved on? So who's got some stories? Who does a really good job with this? Or where is there room for improvement? Michael.
So what we did was we adopted the idea that there is no reason to reinvent the wheel every single year. We have an Excel spreadsheet with all of our events, and of course the date's going to change slightly every year, but we just adjust for the date. Now, of course, with the COVID year, that was a challenge and it threw a monkey wrench into everything, but the vast majority of our calendar is the same every year, because in the past we saw this torture of having to decide month after month what's going on next month and what the date is and how is it we accommodate as many people as possible was just torture for the parents and for the leaders. The parents want to be able to look at the calendar and Scout Book and know what's going on, know what's going to go on in February, they want to know when Scout Sunday is. And a lot of these things we already know when they are. We know when they're going to be. So we have it set out. So it's a repeating cycle. Sure, we might change what we do. But even on camping trips, even that was getting to be torture. It's like, we should know. It should be this weekend every year we go.
Yeah.
So that's what we've done. And it has just taken a boatload of stress off of the leaders, and it makes the parents happy, because parents don't want to hear, no, now what is it? Now what do we have to decide? No, it's decided. And we made the decision together, and it's done. And it's year after year, again, not reinventing the wheel. So that's what worked out really well for us.
Yeah, that's great. Having that calendar already populated helps a whole lot when we're sitting down. And then you only have to pop in like dates that aren't working that year, or changing up what the content of the event is without actually changing the date. All right, what else have we got? What else? Does anyone have something that, just isn't working at their program or their conference planning? Nothing anyone wants to have on record.
So what I went ahead and put on the chat is a link to Brian on Scouting, which he has an article on how to run your annual conference, as well as the planning calendar, as well as the leader program books. There's a flow chart for bilingual, and is for Cub Scout, for PACs, Troops, and Venturing. So this is a great resource. Go ahead and grab that link to at least get you started. Maybe you're one of those PACs where it's just like, well, we've never done it. Where do I start? This is a great place to be in.
Do we have anybody here whose PAC does not do an annual planning conference and just wings it every month? Yay, that makes me happy. Nobody's winging it month to month. All right. Oh, do we have someone? Uh-oh. Do we have a winger? Oh, we might have a winger.
Maybe.
So has your PAC never had a program, or is it just not something that we've done recently? Or
I honestly don't know because I've only been in since December. So
okay. So the other question,
and everyone changed. So
yeah, so that makes it hard when you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we have lots of people here who are very well versed in planning. If you would like to connect with anybody, I'm sure you could make some friends here that would be willing to help.
Your unit commissioner should be able to help you as well. And if you do not know who that is, we would be happy.
Oh, I do.
Okay, good. Go ahead and reach out to them because they would be a great resource to also have in their in your corner to help you with how to run this, how to plan, and how to think ahead. Because as Mike had said, that we're at the possibility that we just need to look at the calendar and just go, okay, this is what's going on, and just move on.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another thought. How many of you took your training enough years ago where you don't remember that there was a module on annual program planning in your training? Because now would be an excellent time to go back and rewatch that module that teaches you how to do that. The other thing is there are some great books, resources that have all the information that you need to on how to plan it. If you're someone who likes to research before you start, if not, you can also just jump into it. Let's see. What is there anybody who has a really unique idea how they run their annual planning conference? So I know some PACs run it now because they're planning for their summer. Some PACs run it at the beginning of the school year. Some PACs run it at the recharter time to plan for their new year with all their new leaders. Who runs theirs when? When do you run yours? Either y'all don't run it or you're all lying to us. When do you run yours? Typically.
Alexandra?
Go for it. Shout it out.
Right. So we usually try to do it in June. However, it's a huge struggle. We have a lot of teachers in our PAC. So it's kind of like the burnout is real, right? Like we don't want to get together and do anything. So that's a struggle for us. But we need to do it because there's no other good time to do it. Because then at the beginning of the school year, that's a whole nother thing.
Could you shift it to earlier, before burnout happens? Maybe after the holidays?
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, I know.
No, then you have spring break and then it's the end of the year. So
there's no reason for the time. Now, to be honest, I'm a teacher myself, and when I used to run the committee as a committee chair, we did it like right at the end of May. And I know it's a big struggle, like I promised goodies. And because it is a struggle and there's really no good time. And then you're right smack in the summer where everything is happening. So if it's something that's consistent and it's already in the plan, teachers will plan that I got to be here and I need to be in that mind frame to be here. So if it's consistent, like we're going to do it on the third weekend of May, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't hitting Mother's Day. Then they know, okay, it's going to be the same weekend every year, and we plan for it. So that might be an idea as well. I never did it that way because I just kind of go, okay, got to do this now.
I know.
Go ahead, Angie.
I know a troop that makes it an adults only event, and they go without uniforms to a taco place and have margaritas and do it. So that's another thing to consider. As long as you're not wearing your uniform, you can go and do it outside of scouting.
Ryan made a comment that his daughter's pack does theirs in August and plans up to blue and gold. And then in February, will do March to August. So
that works too.
Annually would work too.
Good thoughts. Good thoughts.
So I feel like when we do the planning, you also have to consider how much it's going to cost for your events. So knowing what nationals are going to charge, it is kind of helpful to do that after that comes out, because then that helps us maybe adjust what we do as far as families who, can or cannot afford to do some of those events. So it does, I think, help to plan after we know what national and council fees may be.
That's a good point, because how can you plan your year if you're really strapping your budget thin? So that's good.
And usually nationals annual meeting is at the end of May.
Mm-hmm.
So usually around the end of May, and then once it goes through committee for council, and then they make their proposals. So somewhere between May and June is when it starts happening. So not giving you that things will change or not change. I'm just kind of give you a time frame, what to think to watch out for. So if you're like, okay, we know that annual meeting is always at the end of May, next board meeting is going to be in June. Maybe your conference will be held in July instead, or maybe this whole August to February biannual idea might work better. So that might be something to keep in the back of your mind when you're doing these conferences. So.
All right, did anyone else have any questions about the annual program planning before we open up to general questions? Okay, then now is your time. If you've got a burning question you need some information on, you have got some commissioners here ready to answer your questions.
We're that awesome.
We've got it covered. Holy smokes. Anybody? Anything?
Comments, statements, questions, complaints?
Alexandra, you got something. You look like you want to say something.
I have been getting, I'm sure everyone has, parents coming from all over saying, what is your year going to look like next year? And so this is also my hesitation with like even planning the conference this year is I'm just like, like you said earlier, plan for the best, expect the worst, or whatever it is. And
yeah.
So it's just like, you're just like, let's plan for everything. We don't know. Don't ask me if we're wearing masks. Don't ask me what day we're meeting on. I don't know. We're homeless right now as a pack, but we are working at it. And I think if we wait as more things open up, we will have more opportunities available to us. So.
Yeah, I would say if you plan for a simple program, things that you can do, pretty much no matter what, as long as you're allowed to meet safely, that's pretty good way to plan. And then if you are able to add sparkle to it with maybe special events, it's easier to throw that in on top. So you can still kind of plan for the basics and then plan, okay, maybe here's what we'll add if we're allowed to. And that kind of makes it simpler to plan for. It's not quite as complicated, but then at least you have an idea of where you could go with it if things are looking good. And right now, things are looking pretty good. So I would say, hope for the best. Everybody cross your fingers, get your vaccinations. It's good stuff. We're excited. Our units are excited. Do you have anything else? Anyone has a burning desire to know? Okay, then we are going to wrap up because it is almost 8 o'clock. Thank you all so much for coming, and we hope we'll see you again next month. In the meantime, if you've got anything that comes up, just ask Ezra and we'll get you an answer as soon as we possibly can. Have a good night. Thank y'all.